everyone knows that logs are important, and they can also be a little bit of a pain.
Yeah, you have thousands upon thousands of log messages coming from routers, switches, firewalls, servers, a lot of your traditional on-prem equipment, but then we even have additional challenges today with things like hybrid cloud and full cloud deployments.
Exactly, and just getting at these logs isn't necessarily easy. You might have to open up a terminal, find the right directory, start tailing that log, grep through some things to try and find the right pieces of information you're looking for, and that's just on one of potentially thousands of different logs.
Right, so kind of the key is to have a nice central place to aggregate all that data and take a look at it, potentially be able to filter and search and alert off of the messages coming in, right alongside your other performance data.
Absolutely, and so I think today we're going to be talking about two of SolarWinds log solutions. Log Analyzer and Loggly.
Right, so Log Analyzer, especially for a lot of our existing customers that already have on-prem SolarWinds deployments using things like NPM and SAM to look at their environment, they can look at those logs right alongside the other performance metrics.
Awesome. Yeah, and then from my perspective, I'll be talking about Loggly, which is entirely SaaS-based, so it really does excel both. It can obviously collect on-premise logs, but it really excels for cloud-based logs that may be otherwise difficult to collect.
Right. So why don't we take a look at, I can bring up our Log Analyzer tool and take a look at some of that stuff here.
Awesome, let's jump in.
Yeah, so let me hop into our system here and I'll show you a little bit of how we will do this in kind of the SolarWinds Orion platform. So we already have Log Analyzer installed in the system. I'm collecting logs from various servers and network devices. So this particular server, for example, has been having some issues with SQL. So I can come in here and go to this Analyze Logs button, for example, directly from this node. And here I have an interactive dashboard that shows me the log messages from this particular device. You'll notice these tags over here. So these are some built-in tags that we ship out of the box with Windows security, user login, things like that.
Now, can you manually define your own tags as well?
Yeah, so you can create your own tags based off of various criteria. There's obviously different color coding, as you can see here. So creating a tag for your common things, maybe environment failure if it's a network device, or maybe other system failures for servers, but certainly you can create your own tags. And then you can filter off of those as well. So for example, we see some SQL Server issues here. We actually had an unexpected server shutdown along with some memory issues on this particular device.
Now, when you see a certain event like that, would you be able to fire off an alert?
Yeah, so the Log Analyzer product uses the same alerting suite that we have within the rest of the Orion platform. So you have the ability to shoot off an email, open up an incident, for example, in ServiceNow. So you have numerous different actions you could take, run a script, all those kind of things are available to you. So the other thing I really like to do is, in addition to just kind of looking at the logs here, let me go back a page. We're going to go right back to the node we came in from. And from the node, instead of going to the Analyze Logs this time, I'm going to use our Performance Analyzer, or PerStack. So PerStack allows us to take virtually any metric we're collecting in the system and visualize it here on this type of chart.
Oh, wow.
So we have a lot of out-of-the-box CPU, memory, response time type alerts already on here. I'm going to add in some of the same logs we were looking at a moment ago. So if I go click on the entity over here, and then I will grab some of our log events. So now I can see these window events directly alongside of all of our performance data. So I might see a spike in CPU or memory after a log event, for example, or maybe a system down. But then I can actually drag over this time period and zoom in.
Wow, that's pretty easy.
Yeah, so now once I'm zoomed in, I can see over here on the left in our what we call our Data Explorer, all those entries in that time period, and then I even have my filtering here. So if I wanted to kind of get a little bit more granular and look for specific messages, I could, and see what was going on around this time period. So it makes it really easy to see the log entries right alongside all of your other performance data.
Yeah, really get down to the kind of root cause type analysis.
Right, yeah, and like we were talking earlier with an alert, if I find that one of these entries may have been the originator of the problem I'm having, I might want to trigger an alert so I can remediate it in advance, potentially before I have an outage, or at least get my downtime reduced by catching the issue quicker.
Wow, that all looks great with Log Analyzer. I think we can show you something really similar with Loggly. You mind if I step in?
Sure, absolutely.
So here we're looking at Loggly's main page, and essentially what you'll see is all of the events coming in from all of your different sources in one place. We make it easy to search between those different sources using the Field Explorer here on the left-hand side.
Okay.
So one of the things we talked about earlier was a hybrid or an entirely cloud-based infrastructure that you might be working with. So the example we're going to use today is our AWS CloudWatch metrics that we're able to collect. Let's just drill right into the Field Explorer here and look for a particular metric name that we may be trying to collect from.
Okay.
So as we expand this out a little bit, you can see we collect a lot of different metrics here, and we'll just click on one at random, CPU utilization. That should be familiar enough for everybody. What that's going to do is it's going to apply a filter to the logs, and now we're looking at events that only pertain to this particular metric.
Okay.
And you can see we have a large number of those, but turning this into something more usable is pretty easy. We'll just turn it into a chart quickly. So clicking on chart here, all we have to do is change the value type to a statistic, and then we can look at a particular numeric. In this case, we'll look at the average of the CPU utilizations over time.
All right.
So now we have this nice chart here that's going to show how CPU is performing throughout time, and then adding it to our chart library, and by extension creating a dashboard off of it is just as easy as clicking in this Edit Chart button. I'll show a completed dashboard quickly just to get an idea what this might look like, and show it side by side with some more traditional log type data. So here we can see we've got our CPU utilization we were just talking about, maybe some network stats down at the bottom, even the ELB latency. So from a couple of different sources around our AWS environment. You can also see that we have just our standard syslog severity reporting in, so that if there's any correlation.
Can you filter any of those out?
Yeah, absolutely. So all these charts are live. All you have to do is click on any of the data points in the key, and it'll automatically update the chart for you. So one other thing that I will mention is that we have the ability to create an alert as well. So if we wanted to, we could come in here, generate an alert based off of this data. So if our CPU utilization passed a certain point, we'd be able to alert on that.
Or any other string of text.
Any other string of text, exactly. Yeah, so that's basically Loggly.
So to me, it seems that if your use case is primarily cloud-based applications, AWS, this SaaS solution at Loggly be a good fit for those type of users.
Log Analyzer is a great addition to an existing Orion deployment, really high performance for large volumes of logs, and can bring all that data together.
Yeah, and if somebody wants to try out the Log Analyzer, they can just go to support.solarwinds.com and find out more about the product.
Yeah, similarly, if you just go to loggly.com, you can see, and we even have a free trial available, so you can give it a shot.
So, logs aren't going away. They're a part of every IT pro's job. So having the right tool to help kind of parse through that data is a necessary item for most of us.
Yeah, absolutely. It really makes a higher degree of analysis possible, and takes away a lot of that heavy lifting of going through logs.
Awesome.